giving you the real from A to Z surrounding the Dallas Cowboys. News, updates, rumors, transactions, takes, and more. So strap up, Cowboys Nation, and start your day off with A to Z Sports. Live with Will Steele.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go. Good morning, good people. Welcome to A to Z Sports Live. We're streaming live on YouTube. And of course, I am your host, Will Skywalker Steele. Boom! We back, baby. We back. Bringing back the free agency primer show edition. Talking about running backs. I do think they will be players, just not with the guys who we want. But we'll discuss the details of that a little bit later. Also in the roundup, Demo speaks out. I want to bring him back up. He's the forgotten man, obviously. So he said some things to .com at his charity event. And then we get a step closer to securing our All-Pros future with this move that was made yesterday. Good morning, Bomb Squad.
Bomb Squad!
How we doing this morning? For those, who may be stumbling in here, maybe late, maybe new, our free agent primer. Listen, I don't want to get your hopes up. I always introduce the primer segment like this because some people will be expecting the all-world names. I know I got Derrick Henry right there. We'll briefly talk about Derrick Henry. But we operate in a world we call Catboy criteria. And in Catboy criteria, we don't necessarily list all the expensive high-end free agents. So we try to find a handful of guys in that Catboy world that could at least get in here and help the Cowboys in some way, shape, or form. Or just guys that they will look at because they operate in that Catboy criteria. So those are the rules. I don't make them up. Actually, I do. And that's just how it goes. And yesterday, I think during the show on Vacha's show, we did a free agent primer here weeks ago for linebacker. And we also did a trade target show for linebacker. And Eric Kendricks came up. And he was a guy that was like, hey, man, look, new leadership over there in Los Angeles. I don't necessarily think they want to do their own thing. They could be looking to move on from Eric Kendricks. For the Cowboys, if they want to secure him, send him a 2025 7th round pick. If they don't, they could potentially release him, say $5 million either way for the Chargers. Well, that's exactly what happened. The Chargers released Eric Kendricks. And had he been a free agent, he would have been on that free agency primer linebacker. 100%, probably the number one guy, because he's going to get whatever little pennies he gets from, if there was guaranteed money, I'm not sure, from being released from the Chargers. And I don't really see him costing a whole lot. So I'm going to say this. This is what I said about Eric Kendricks on the show. It's what I said about him on Twitter. If all is well with him and Zimmer, he's a slam dunk, no-brainer guy you bring to this team because he will help that linebacker room. He will fast-track that linebacker room in that front seven. So we'll see because they didn't end well over there in Minnesota. And, look, I'm not getting my hopes up for Eric Kendricks, but, he'd be a perfect fit here, y'all. That's all I'm saying. Be a perfect fit. But we're talking running backs today. And before we talk about the actual running backs, we'll talk about a former running back as well in the roundup. So let's do it, Bomb Squad.
It's time! It's time! It's time! It's time!
Time.
It's time!
Time?
It is time for...
It's time for the morning roundup. Round 'em up, boys.
Let me talk to you.
Overshown said, let me talk to you. So earlier I said he attended a charity event. It was a fan event. Apologies. He was at a fan event yesterday or the day before. Not sure when this took place. And .com had a chance to speak with him. And they were asking him about his recovery and other things. And Overshown said on his recovery, quote, "We're pushing right at about 6 months. Everything is going good. We're starting to move around. We're ahead of the curve. It's just a process. This isn't what my rookie year was supposed to be, but you get up and you do it every day. He was asked about his second year, and he said he's more hungry. All the excitement that was built up in year one is still there. It's ready to be unleashed on people. The glimpse that y'all got last year, you should expect 10 times more than that. This ACL injury will not be an excuse for anything going into the season. I'm going to be ready to play, and fans should expect that. Last thing he said here was, I'm coming into the room competing. That's just not me wanting the starting job, because of course we all do, but it's bringing the guys with me in the locker room. We're all competing, and that brings our linebacker room to a new level. I bring that competition. It's a newcomer coming in that's hungry for a spot. It forces everybody to want to play better. I talked about this a lot last year with Overshown. There's an aura to this kid. There's just something about him that like I say, it galvanizes the locker room, the organization, the players. And I get it. He's a rookie linebacker, so maybe it's not going to be felt outside of that locker room. But had a chance to talk to him briefly, and I got it. Right? You see him out there at camp, and I got it. When he was drafted and you dig more behind the actual player on the field, I got it. I'm like, man, look, I don't know what this kid's career is going to end up being, but I know it won't be because he didn't work his ass off to be the best. And he's got talent. But maybe it's not 2024. Maybe it's 2025 and beyond. But I think this kid is going to be a real deal player in this league, man. He just has this it factor about him. And you saw him out there. You know, it was brief, I'm sorry. And it was only a few games, and it was camp. But I'd rather have seen something than nothing, right? So I don't know. 2024 may not be his year because he's recovering from the ACL. I'm not going to write him completely off, but I am going to be skeptical because of an ACL. But from a longevity term, I think Overshown is going to be a player in this league, man. Really good kid. Good to hear from him. We'll see where he fits with Zimmer. But like I said last year when we were doing our one of our segments, I was like, hey, man, whatever they decide to do with him, I think he's going to figure it out. Really, really like this kid. I think he's going to figure it out. Speaking of another defensive end. Depends where you look. The Cowboys have used the fifth-year option on Micah Parsons as expected, right? They usually do this for their first-round picks that have been great. But they used it on Micah as a defensive end, and that seems to have Cowboy fans a bit confused here. To be fair, it is confusing. You kind of have to sit back, say, wait a minute, what's going on here? Now, the confusion comes because as a defensive end, that pays about $21 million for the fifth year. And it's going to count $21 million, by the way, on a cap. But if he was listed as a linebacker, he'd be paid technically $3 million more. So, there's a lot of different things going on with this. There's people saying, oh, the Joneses, being cheap. And that very well could be true. But I'm going to tell you why I'm not really tripping about any of that. But here's the reason why defensive ends, fifth-year options, and really franchise tags are less than linebackers. And you could blame the league on this. They need to create a different category. But because of guys like Khalil Mack, TJ Watt, Joey Bosa, Bradley Chubb, these are the guys that are at the top of the pass rush money chart, but they're listed as outside linebackers in 3-4, which is going to inflate the entire position. So when you got guys like Mack, Watt, Bosa, Chubb clocking, $100+ million deals, that's going to inflate that overall position, and they're being designated as linebackers. So it's just all this craziness on social media of, well, defense and linebacker defense. Here's why I ain't freaking out about this. Number one, the odds of Micah Parsons playing on his 5th year without an extension are pretty slim. If I had to guess, I doubt Micah's even tripping because he knows I really don't care if you list me as a water boy. I'm going to get the bag. I'm going to get a record-setting bag. This only matters if he plays on his 5th year, and then he'll be losing out on $3 million in 2025. Again, that seems very slim. Because if he does indeed get an extension, which I expect probably next year, I don't think they'll do it this year. Let's remember, Nick Bosa, designated as a defensive end, signed the largest deal by total value and average annual value ever for a defensive player at the time of signing. Aaron Donald signed a record-breaking deal, the first non-quarterback player to earn over $30 million a year. So whether they list Mike as a DE, defensive tackle, safety, corner, water boy, chess pro, podcast Hall of Famer, whatever you want, he's getting it back. It truly doesn't matter. But that part of it, listing him as a defensive end, kind of caught I don't want to say football world, Cowboys Nation by storm. It's really a big nothing burger for me unless he plays on the 5th year, and I find that hard to believe. I truly do. This is an NFL issue more than anything. In fact, this should bring to light the NFL's archaic, or maybe not archaic because it's not really like 20 years old, but this is a loophole that, and owners, they're going to find loopholes. To me, this is an NFL problem. They need to figure out, hey, look, Watt and Bosa and Chubb, these boys aren't linebackers. They're pass rushers. They need to designate these guys as pass rushers and put them in the defensive end category, in my opinion. Bring the Brinks, Chuck? Yeah, it's coming, brother. It really does not matter. Micah and maybe his agent might be, but Micah probably sitting there like, whatever, we're going to get this deal done. And here's what I appreciate about what he said when he sat down with, I think it was CD. He was like, hey, look, man, get y'all. Take care of y'all first. You that I'm good, But that goes missed. Or maybe we could just move Micah to running back. Don't want to do that? we are in the market for running back. And I do think the Cowboys will be players in the market. I was thinking about when I wanted to drop this. Not really a nugget. It's just something we already know. So to understand, I think the Cowboys thinking, we kind of have to go back a little bit to the beginning of the offseason where we started to hear or see breadcrumbs being dropped that, hey, Dallas is out of the market of paying big-time running backs, right? And for whatever reason, Spotrac had Derrick Henry at like 4.3 early on in this process, and then I went back. Now it's up over 10. Saquon Barkley is expected to get 12. Josh Jacobs is probably going to be around that 10 as well. I don't see the Cowboys being involved in that, right? And Jeremy Fowler, NFL insider, quick little, I don't want to call it a nugget because I think we all understood this as well, but Dallas did just come off of paying Zeke the big bag, and they did just come off of tagging Tony Pollard. So, Greeny said, hey, could they be in the market for another big name running back? And this is what Fowler said.
Should we be expecting them to be in the market for someone like Saquon Barkley?
Ooh, I think they're looking at running back. I don't know about that price point, $10 to $12 million, if it's going to take that. They're going to look into their options there. They're looking for an explosive running back for sure. I just don't know. I don't think they're going to spend that price point.
I agree with some of that in the sense of I do think they're going to explore this market 100%. But see, this is where national media, national journalists or what have you, they plug, right? I get it. Y'all plug. Y'all probably know people, whatever. But sometimes I wonder, like, how close do they pay attention to said team? Unless they, like Dan Graziano, he used to work NFC East, so he's really plugged. But when you say, yeah, they're looking for the running back position, maybe not that. It ain't maybe. It's not. In fact, I don't think the Cowboys are going to come close to that, except for possibly one player, and I'm going to tell you about that later. I don't think they're going to come close to 10, 11, 12 million dollars a year. I think they're done with that. I truly do believe that. They might be a few years too late, but hey, at least they learn. Remember, class, what are the Joneses? They're a reactive family. They're not proactive. So it only took them 4 years later to realize, I guess I don't need to pay my running back, 16, 17 million dollars, not even $10 million. They had to feel really silly last year where they looked at the running back market. They franchise tagged Tony Pollard. Franchise tagged the running back. It was crazy to me coming off that injury. But you franchise tagged Tony Pollard, right? And then the running back market starts to expose itself as, oh snap, 6 million guaranteed is the highest, 8 million, 9 million guaranteed, y'all, over 3-4 year deals. Average annual salary of 5, 6, 4, and you paying TP off a broken fibula, tibula, hibula, dibula, 10. Yeah, they had to feel stupid. So what they normally do is they'll overcorrect. They're not going to pay 10, 11, 12 million dollars. But this first guy, y'all not going to like this dude at all. But let me remind you, free agent primer rules are not my rules. They're my rules. But they're not what I would necessarily do. They're what the thinking cap and what the Cowboys do. And this first guy, if there was a free agent primer, Catboy criteria, Hall of Fame, J.K. Dobbins would be in it. J.K. Dobbins. Stephen Jones right now. Yeah, I know the red eyes, the lasers. Stephen Jones probably has the red laser eyes directly at J.K. Dobbins. Well, Sky, what the hell do you mean? What I mean is, J.K. Dobbins has the injury history, and boy, does he. Where's that? Boy, does he. He has the injury history. He's going to be cheap. And he's got the draft pedigree. Let's break it all down. Let's talk about the cheapness, okay? The cheapness. He's projected to get a vet minimum, $1.25 million guaranteed. Stephen Jones is loving it. Number 2 is the draft pedigree. The second round pick. Yeah, he's a second round pick in 2020. Oh, they love getting those high. Noah Igbenaga not. Right? Former first round pick. Oh, love taking those chances. But the big one, though. This mother can't stay healthy. And it started in college. At 2016, right fibula fracture, got surgery. 2021, tore his ACL. 2022, had to fix some scar tissue in his ACL, ended up missing 9 games that season. Last year, ran out the tunnel and tore his Achilles. I mean, it's just... So J.K. Dobbins, who is a talented runner, there's no doubt about it. But the man can't stay healthy. And for that reason, the Cowboys were probably looking at him like, yeah, I'll take a flyer on him. He fits that bill perfectly for Catboy. Now, all jokes aside, if he never got hurt, maybe he's not even in the situation, because he healthy, which is extremely rare, healthy, he's a spark plug back. He averages damn near 6 yards a carry in his career, but he just don't play. I do like his vision at the second level. I do like his balance, but it's never really been about his ability. It's been about his durability. And you just can't count on that, man. So he's going to go into free agency, and, he's going to sign somewhere for a ridiculously cheap deal, as he should, right? And it's probably going to be incentive laden. And honestly, I wouldn't even make it crazy incentive laden. PFF has him at, I think PFF and Spotrac have his projected contract at like $2 million, but only like 1.5 or less than that is guaranteed. So whatever the vet minimum is, you go vet minimum, and then you put some incentives on it, like $500 escalators or something, if he plays and if he hits this number, hits that number. You know what I mean? But I would stay away. We had this conversation. But y'all, listen, y'all. How is he not a Catboy criteria fit? I wouldn't be doing this segment justice if I didn't include J.K. Dobbins. And I try to keep it a bean here as much as possible. He is Catboy criteria. He is a Hall of Famer in Catboy criteria. Yep. Again, for those who are late, these aren't always who I want. It's Catboy criteria. Take a quick call. Good morning, Banks. How you doing, man?
Sky, what's going on, man?
Not much. How you doing, fam?
Good. Yeah, man, I don't see us doing much with I know we can get a running back. I wouldn't be surprised if TP come back on a lower deal. I don't know if you can talk about that or anything, but also I could absolutely see us going with somebody like J.K. Dobbins. But just to touch on this, how you said the front office is reactive, not proactive.
Yep.
With certain things, just they back to that, that year when Zeke held out. That's the year I felt like you should have just not let Zeke go. Or you couldn't. He was still under contract, but you should have went into that season and see what you had in Tony Pollard that year. I don't feel like Zeke wouldn't have stayed out the whole year. He might have missed the first couple of games, but he would have been back. And then, went from there and kind of showed, and just seeing, if Tony would have had a few good games or a couple 100-yard games or something, it's like, okay, let me get let me get back, and then, Dallas would have kind of probably had some leverage at that time. But,
they
but like we always do. Yeah, they did. And and like we always do, we go and wait too late and overpay somebody. But, I'm just anxious, man. Coming up, I don't think some people don't realize, free agency is next week?
Yep, yeah, they start the open window, I think, March 13th, and then I think the 15th is when you could officially sign players. So, yeah.
Okay. I thought it was the 11th. They start negotiating. But anyway, man, right now we don't have any cap space, man. So they kind of got to get on the ball, and decide whether they're going to restructure these contracts and see what they can do.
That is a given that will happen because they have to. It's against the rules. They have to get under the cap. So, that'll happen. It's just a matter of how they do it. Likely, in my opinion, that there will be extensions of CeeDee Lamb, and you would hope Dak. Though both of those two immediately get you there. But they've got triggers to get under. They're only $9 million over, and they have to get under. So they will get under. That's not going to be a problem. And getting under, look, we know they're not going to spend a bunch of money. So as long as they're under, they'll sign some cheap-ass free agents to satisfy themselves.
Yeah, man. And, they've been talking about the Jerry all in. And when he first said it, I said, I don't see that happening. We'll see. And then, they kind of try to show their hand this past weekend at the combine, speaking on it. Mm-hmm. But that's all I got, man.
All right. Appreciate you, big dog. Yeah, if you missed yesterday's show, we kind of, I won't call it exposed, but we basically showed you guys what he meant by all-in. And his all-in was 3 cheap players over 1 premium talent, which I've been doing this segment, free agency primer, Catboy criteria, for like 3 or 4 years. That's exactly how I operate. Go look at free agency at the cheap players that I just hope can help these Cowboys, because they don't ever really go after the big fish. And this next player to me is one of the more interesting free agent running backs, because he's not a big name. He's not an overly explosive player or anything like that, right? But what he is he's consistent in being part of a committee. And we're talking about Gus Edwards, who had a breakout season. If you want to call it that, or career high. Let's just go there. 5-year pro, spent all 5 seasons in Baltimore. And again, intriguing, not because he's Barkley or Jacobs or Henry, because he's the model of consistency as a complimentary back. And that was my buzzword last year going into dealing with the running back situation, right? Was, hey, look, just get a compliment. You didn't tag Tony, nothing we can do about that, but compliment him. You're not going to run him out here and treat him like early year Zeke. No, compliment him, right? And that's what Gus Edwards is to me. Actually, these next few are complimentary backs, in my opinion. 2023 had 810 yards, 13 touchdowns, career highs, obviously. And you want to talk about goal line, ain't got to worry about that with him. Gus Edwards is a guy who had 13 touchdowns, all 13 goal to goal, tied with Raheem Mostert, I believe. Goes 6'1", 238. And that's, look, he's not, don't mistake this dude for a dude that's going to run around you. He's trying to power through you. He's not, that's not who he is. The Ravens, though, were the inverse of the Philadelphia Eagles, right? Eagles, their running backs get you down to the goal line, and then Jalen Hurts vultures the touchdowns. Baltimore, their quarterback gets you down to the goal line, and their running backs vultures. I won't call it vulture, but they scored touchdowns. That was Gus Edwards' job, you know. And even for a guy who's not particularly explosive, he does have a 40-yard run on his resume last year and an 80-yard touchdown on his resume. So, you know, he can hit the big play, but I wouldn't mistaken Gus Edwards as a big play guy. Gus Edwards is a complimentary power back that goes about 240 at 6'1". That's who he is. Interesting, though. Not a guy that's asked to block a lot, because a lot of people are worried about going with young running backs because, hey, man, they got to pass block. Fair enough. When Gus Edwards was asked to pass block in his 5-year career, he's only given up 1 sack or been credited for 1 sack and doesn't have a ton of pressure. So, you know, being a veteran, that obviously is something that he should be good at. If not, then you got a problem there. So fit is just basically what we just were talking about. He'd be a complimentary power back to a potential young guy you get in the draft. What about the price? Another cheap guy. Spotrac has him at 1 year, $3.5 million roughly. PFF has him at 2 years, $3.5 million roughly, $4 million guaranteed. Believe it or not, you know, that number for the Cowboys still feels a little high. But it's hard to get that much cheaper unless you go J.K. Dobbins. I don't really see the Cowboys hovering around that 8, 9, 10, $11 million type of deal. Hence why Cowboy criteria. So Gus Edwards, power back, not anything probably going to move the needle for many people, but he is a consistent complimentary guy for Baltimore. It wouldn't shock me if he returned to Baltimore, though. He already knows the system, the quarterback, the city. He feels like a Baltimore back anyway. We're here in Dallas. I don't know what they want from a identity standpoint. But Gus Edwards, that's my second. And then we'll wrap up the Catboy criteria with this last one here. And again, this is Catboy. Got to put the Catboy cap on. Basically going to follow in the same mode of a guy that I was just talking about. And that's A.J. Dillon. A.J. Dillon, you want to talk about big body bruisers. Dillon and Gus Edwards are those guys, but Dillon's even bigger. You know, he goes about 250 pounds. He's not quite Josh Jacobs, Brandon Jacobs, because Brandon Jacobs was 6'4". But he's coming off of a career low year, actually, though, which, again, Catboy looks at that and says, career low year, got banged up, missed the last 3 games, both playoff games and the final regular season game. Is he cheap? PFF has him as 2 years, $4 million guaranteed. So Dallas probably come in at 1 year, $2 million guaranteed. You got something to prove? Got something to prove. But in Green Bay, he was the Robin to Aaron Jones' Batman. They had in my opinion, fantastic 1-2 punch. That is the thunder, lightning, striker, bruiser, ideal 1-2 punch that you want, in my opinion, in today's NFL because of the longer schedule. Then you got the playoffs, right? And that's more of a passing league than anything. So if teams are going to be a bit lighter up front, Give me multiple backs that can attack these defenses. And he and A.J. Dillon were a part of that. And his nickname is Quadzilla. And all you got to do is just look at here. I mean, he's got quads the size of tree trunks. So if he were to be a Dallas Cowboy, he would be a Thunder in a duo backfield. Nothing more, nothing less. And like I said, for cheap. That would be A.J. Dillon. And when I went and looked at some Catboy criteria, I really didn't want to blow smoke up, y'all. I didn't want to look at a guy like DeAndre Swift, who I would love to have here. But DeAndre Swift, if you go look at his market value, you're looking at upwards of over $6 million. And I find it hard to believe that they would go that route on a guy outside their organization. I do. I find it hard to believe. So you got to try to put this ridiculous Stephen Jones cap on and say, well, where are they comfortable? Remember last year, granted, they were paying Tony Pollard, but last year they went out and signed Ronald Jones for the vet minimum. Brought back Rico Dowdle for nothing. Drafted their running back in the 6th round. If they're truly out of paying top-ish dollars to running backs, you're probably looking at 3, 4 tops. And 4 might be high, for real. 4 might be high for the running back position. Well, Scott, you didn't do your all-in. You're right. I did not do my all-in. And we'll get to that in a second. Bring back Eddie Lacy. Eddie Lacy had some good run with old Mike McCarthy. So you would think my all-in would be this guy. Right? Or Saquon Barkley or Josh Jacobs. Sure. That makes sense. Would love to have a Derrick Henry for a Catboy criteria fit. Derrick Henry's likely going to garner a lot of attention on the free agent market. Dallas is not about to go back and forth with nobody. It's not happening. It's probably going to get roughly around $10 million or more. You want to pitch it, if you want to put your mind frame in getting Derrick Henry and set yourself up, by all means do so. I'd rather be pleasantly surprised, so I'm not going to do that. Unfortunately, the all-in is this guy. I say that tongue-in-cheek because I respect Tony Pollard. Coming off of that injury, TP, worked his way back in, was a little bit slower and whatnot. Tony Pollard's their all-in, I'm telling you. They rather sleep with the devil they know. Because if you look at his monies, it's really not that far off from a guy like DeAndre Swift. It's actually more expensive than a guy like a Zach Moss. But Zach Moss is hovering around that $4+ million, and I just don't see Dallas want to do it. But Matthew Berry dropped his 25 most interesting things he heard at the Combine, which is, I didn't know he did that. I didn't even know he was plugged like that. I mean, I know Matthew Berry's respected in the NFL, but I thought he was a fantasy guy, but whatever. This seemed to be making waves last night. He said, I'm told a likely landing spot for Tony Pollard is Dallas. Yeah, apparently the Cowboys want to bring him back despite all of us thinking he had a down year. I mean, he did. He wasn't fully healthy for a lot of the year, but they like him a lot. And I was told, don't be surprised if Tony Pollard is back. Wouldn't be at all. This would be such a Cowboy thing to do. They are very stubborn about their own. They will hold on. Obviously, they don't like to admit when they're wrong. And I'm not saying Tony Pollard's a bad pick. Not at all. I think he far exceeded his 4th round status. But I don't think they want to look wrong on the tag. 2nd year removed from his injury, he'll probably be a better player, no doubt about it. But I'm not going to fake the funk to y'all here. I do believe young legs, fresh legs, rookies, they can do just fine. To me, it's about the how, and then you talk about the player. And I think there's more than enough. We talked about this yesterday with Foots. There's a ton of running backs in this draft. Now, I will say this, though. If they're going to bring back TP, for the love of football Jesus, just please compliment the dude. I mean, did we learn our lesson last year, Cowboys Nation? Did we learn our lesson? You had the blueprint. You didn't have to switch it up. All you had to do was just bring in a compliment, especially when you knew this dude was coming off of a serious leg injury and it was going to take time. He came out sometime during the year and said, yeah, around, what was it, the Carolina game is when I start feeling a little bit better about myself, feeling better out there. And it showed, in that second half of the season, Tony was a much better player than he was in the first half of the season. And even in the beginning of the year, for whatever reason, again, coming off of a torn everything down there, they decided to treat him like a workhorse in the sense of he was getting 25, 30 touches 2 of the first 3 games. It's like, what are you doing here? This is not a way to prolong any of these running backs in today's games, careers or seasons, let alone a dude coming off of an injury, let alone a dude who's not been a number 1 workhorse back. So it just didn't make sense. And I think they realized that early and they stopped giving him the 25 plus touches. And they went back to TP being a feature back, but then not having a compliment. Rico Dowdle get 2, 3, 5, 2, 3, 7, 2, 3. That's all he was getting. And to me, that's when I realized these guys they're not serious about the run game. They're not serious about this run game. Then you look even further in the how. They're not serious about the how. All they care about is a number. Hey, man, the more times we run the ball, the more times you run the ball don't mean jack shit if you can't run the ball effectively. Unless you're trying to play keep away and you've got an all-pro quarterback, wide receiver, and an amazing tight end in a quality 2-3. There's no need to play keep away. But it'd be nice if your running game could have complemented your passing game throughout the season. And that never happened when we get to the playoffs and it all came to a head. So this isn't to knock TP. This is more so if you're going to bring him back, I still don't think I'd go upwards around $7 million. I'd personally, Cowboys Nation, I'd give me that and let me go put that into a high quality linebacker. Let me go put that into defensive tackle or defensive end or whomever, right? Let me go put that in there. Give me that. But if they decide to bring him back and it's around that $4-5 million, then so be it. But just please, I'm begging them to compliment him. This class is too deep, in my opinion, in that 2 to 5 range. You could probably find 6 rounders and undrafted guys out of it. But that 2 to 5 range where it just makes too much sense. Too much sense to draft a guy, pair him, and then eventually he be your guy, or you pair him with a guy moving forward. Every 2-3 years, I'm drafting a running back, man. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. We got to stop playing with ourselves. The proof is in the pudding. You can get quality backs in the draft, man. I don't care if they're not first-round picks. Just do it. All right, let's get back into the phone lines here. Cowboy Mike was up next. Good morning, Cowboy Mike. What's goody? Cowboy Mike. Going once, going twice. You probably got me muted. So, to my brother Mel Hayes. What's good, Mel?
Cowboy Mike fell asleep on us.
Yeah, he fell asleep, man. Must be boring him.
Man, I'm loving the new setup, bro.
Hey, appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. Spent a lot of time last weekend putting this thing together, but you know me, always trying to upgrade. It's just a start. We still got some other things
man. Playing. Hey, that's how you do it, man. I'm loving the little lights. I'm loving the screen. Looks real good, man. But on the running back situation, man, I'm not mad at bringing TP back. I personally like TP, so that probably is going to weigh into what I think. But sure. As far as his production last year, I think it was a drop-off mainly because just the scheme and how they ran him, bro. Like, even the highlights you're showing, how many times are we seeing him just run right up the A-gap? Those were the good runs up the A-gap. But there were so many runs where it was just a waste of time. Like,
I could show you
you
the
don't
Detroit
have
Lions
a dominating
tape where
center.
they weren't blocking. Let me see if I got that Detroit tape. I don't have it right here.
Yeah, man, it was just so many times where, you don't have a dominating center. You're running him up the A-gap. I don't really know what they were expecting from him. It was just like they gave all of Zeke's plays from the year before, which, I'm going to be fair, they ran Zeke poorly too with the same poor scheme, and then they just gave it right on over to Tony and said, hey, maybe you can do better with this poor scheme than the last guy did. But, if they decided not to bring him back and out of those cap boy criteria guys, because Henry, Saquon, that's not happening. That's not happening.
No.
But
that's why I'm not about to sit here and waste y'all time on talking about Henry or Saquon Barkley. I don't think
those guys, Saquon, somebody's going to give Saquon, I'm going to say, between 7 to 10. Like, no, I think he'll at least get that.
The word is 12.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah. Which is really not that crazy compared to what it was previously. like the running back market was way above that. So that's
yeah.
But that's
we're looking at that 16 number. But I like J.K. Dobbins, talented guy.
Man, that boy stay hurt.
He's gonna stay hurt, but hey, look, man, we're talking cowboy criteria, guys. It is what it is.
I mean, true.
It is what it is.
That's true.
Look, I'm only working with what you gave me.
I mean, it's fair enough. I mean, J.K. Dobbins he fits it perfectly. You're right.
Yeah, I like J.K. Dobbins as a cowboy criteria guy. Gus Edwards, I think you can find that in the deep in the draft, just a touchdown guy come in around the goal line. Other than that, you're probably looking at a draft pick.
Which I'm all in favor for, Mel. Give me the running back in the draft. I love this draft class of running backs. So
yeah, I'm cool with that too if that's what they decide to do. I'm cool with TP at the $4 and $5 million mark and a draft pick, which is I think.
But you're leaving out the caveat. I'm waiting for you to put the caveat in there. You cool with the TP $4.5 million? If right, there's an if after that, right?
Oh yeah. If they draft a guy?
Okay, because I'm like, you just keep saying I'm cool with TP. I'm not cool with TP coming back if they just gonna do the same shit they did last year. I'm not. No. And also, if they draft a guy, who they want to give the ball to. Like Rico was supposed to be the second guy. He never touched the ball. Like there were games where Rico went, and Rico he never got a series. He never got in the game, and it was like, okay, let's give Rico this series and let's give Rico another series after this one. But it was like, okay, and then
Rico,
when they did,
you get 2 carries.
He got hurt. Again, and that's what we were guarding, coming in when they said Rico's RB2. Like, all right, cool. Look, Rico got, good film in preseason and he does great in camp, but Rico get hurt too. So I just think they fumbled that backfield by A, tagging a dude off a broken leg. B, your RB2 is an undrafted guy from 4 years ago who kept getting hurt year in, year out. And then your RB3 was a 6th-round pick that you clearly didn't have a plan for because you phased him out immediately. It took 2-3 games and he was gone, And so it just the plan just stunk. I just think they said, whatever. We got Dak, we got Lamb, we got the tight ends, we got Cooks. We'll just air this thing out and we'll just hit a number. I think it was a shitty plan because then you go into the playoffs. You're supposed to be building to be a dual threat team. And not a one-dimensional team, and you get into the playoffs, you become one-dimensional, and you see what happens.
You see what happens, man. You see what happens. But I haven't gotten your thoughts, man. Last time we spoke, we actually were talking about Tyron. So I haven't gotten your thoughts. If you could quickly
You missed
just
the show?
kind of give me what you. I did miss the show, brother. So
Can't miss shows, man.
if you want, if you say, hey, Mel, just go back and rewatch the show. I ain't got the time. I'm good with you saying that.
I got time, but I mean, I can't go into extreme detail like we did during the show because it was a whole show kind of designated around it. But we basically were talking about 4 options of moving on from Tyron Smith, and not the 4 options, 4 scenarios. And the scenario I kind of settled on, depending on what the hell they decide to do, because in the draft, because I think that's really how they're going to dictate it, is because since they're not bringing back Tyron, I think you have to kick out Tyler if the plan is to not take a tackle in the first round. If the plan is to take a tackle in the first round, then depending on obviously who that tackle is, I think you keep Tyler at left guard, but also ignoring the center position, which you're probably going to need. So they're kind of in an effed up situation. And my main thing during that show was they dropped the ball last year by taking Mozzie instead of taking Bergeron. Because had they took Bergeron and they wanted to play him at guard, which they wanted to do, then they could have kept Tyler at left tackle, and then Tyron Smith would have just been an expensive swing, or somebody gets hurt, he throws him in there, next thing you know, you're moving on. Or you just don't bring him back at all. You could have just took Bergeron. Now you're in year 2 and you got your left side. So for me, they dropped the ball last year on Tyron. I'm okay with moving on from Tyron. What I'm not okay with is how we got here. Because now you're in a position where you might need 2 starters up front because of how you attack the position.
Yeah. Okay. And what day was it, bro? Was it Monday? Was it Tuesday? What show I need to go back and catch up on?
You'll see the thumbnail. It's Tyron Smith up there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, for sure. Hey, man, always good talking to you, brothers. Man, the Morning King is back as usual, never left, bro. I'll holler at you.
Appreciate you, big dog. Mel Hayes. One of my guys, man. Let's get back to it and let's see. All right, Cowboy Mike. We go. Try again, Cowboy Mike.
Man, you got me?
Here we go.
Man, I was like, this dude doing the countdown fast. I'm trying to find the mute button. I couldn't find, like, damn, he gone.
That make you nervous. Cowboy Mike was in there like, oh, shit, let me.
Yeah, and I'm in traffic, too. I was like, I can't find
Hey,
him.
dog,
Damn,
do not crash. And you got to call your insurance like, man, I was trying to call into the Skywalker Steel show. I looked down at my phone. Nah, man, no.
That's for real, man.
No.
Like, maybe we could call Jerry and he put something on the ticket.
Now, Jerry knows some people that you know what I'm saying? Jerry knows some people. Help you out.
Hey, but look here, man. I'm going to get into this running back thing.
Okay.
TP, man, you know what? I can't put new wine in old wineskins, man. I think we got to move on. I would be cool if we bring in like a Gus Edwards because I know we're not going to spend no money. If we brought in a thumper to go with TP, we need to shorten his touches back to 15 a game.
Bro, he was getting that. See, that's why I think people forget. So
But it was the wrong touches. Inside.
So that's a different issue though, Cowboy Mike. Like you said, 15 touches. He gets that. He wasn't getting 25, 30 touches throughout the season. That was at the beginning of the season. The problem was how they were giving him his touches and then also not having a guy to complement him with his touches. So they were using him, not just him. I mean, they haven't really cared about the running game in quite some time. But, you know, TP was getting 12, 13, 14 carries, 15 carries, and that was about where we kind of wanted it, right? We didn't want TP getting 20, 25, 30. We don't want that. But who's getting the other carries? Nobody was.
I smell you on that, man. And it's like, you know what, man? I think this goes back to the O-line, bro. The center.
Oh, for sure.
We got to get more push. It doesn't matter who's back there if there's no lanes. I mean, it does. If you got Derrick Henry back there, he going to lean forward and get 3 yards. But Tony Pollard, he going to get you a yard. If you ain't got no blocking, he not going to make a lane.
I mean, sure, but you can't use him like that. Why would you use them two the same way? That's not his game.
I was always like, use Rico more than you use Tony. Because I felt like when Rico runs so hard that he was going to get you 3 to 4. But, I don't know if he can stay healthy. So I'm not. I mean,
Rico just needed more carries. I'm not giving Rico 15, 20 carries either. Hell no. You know, but you got to give him more than 3.
You don't need to. With the weapons we got, you just got to spread that thing around.
That's what I'm saying. But you're saying more. So basically, you were saying give him the 15. I don't think you need to give Rico 15 touches either. I just think you needed to compliment Tony, and you just never did.
Right. Yeah, we didn't, and we wasted. Well, I mean, it was a complimentary pick, but Deuce Vaughn, that was a waste. We could have brought in somebody else to maybe.
I have a hard time saying 6-round picks are waste, but I just think they didn't have a plan. Which again, McCarthy lied because McCarthy sat at that podium and was like, "Oh man, I got big visions. I got visions and plans, and you know, it's year 1, so whatever. Maybe year 2 we'll have those plans." But he did not execute those plans at all with this dude, and it wasn't hard, bro. You could have just used him as a satellite back. I mean, it wasn't difficult.
I'm gonna go here, man, and I'm gonna take this one off the air, but it's not running back related. How do you feel about kicking Tyler out, putting Bass at guard, drafting a center?
That's the ideal of the worst case scenario right now, not having the left tackle. I mean, I would do that
And that's what I'm doing in my mind because I'm like, okay, we're going to do the wrong thing. So what do we have in-house right now? We kick Tyler out. We put Bass at guard or center. I think Bass could play.
I don't know if he can play. I don't know if he can play center or not. We just have to see it. We're just saying stuff, right? Like, oh, Bass can play center. We have no idea if he can play center. We're just trying to find a solution.
How much money we need to pay Tony? 7?
I'm out on that, me personally. And again, I like Tony. I'm a fan of Tony Pollard, but I'm
out on it too.
I'm not.
But you already know, as Cowboys fans, man, we got to think of how these guys think.
That's exactly why I have Catboy criteria, because
right? You ain't lying.
You know, if I'm thinking like them, I'm thinking shit, $7 million a bit pricey for a running back. You know, given what they may do. But here's the thing, though. It's their own. Will they be willing to pay $7 million to a dude they drafted and played a franchise tag on? I could see that happening.
Hey, what is the deal? I'm hearing rumors about Aaron Jones.
Oh, I did see that. Like last week, I heard they could potentially be getting rid of him. Yeah.
Because you know what he does to us when he comes to Texas, and he is a Texas guy.
I mean, he owns the stadium. But again, Aaron Jones ain't coming in here for no $3 million. So I will tell you, like I tell people looking at Derrick Henry and them boys, don't get your hopes up unless they coming in here to play for pennies.
I got one more insider, man, and I'm really going this time. So my cousin is married to Josh Jacobs' auntie. He's from Oklahoma. That's where I'm from. But that's who I really want.
Josh
Jacobs. Yes.
Yeah.
But what do you think he's hitting at? 13?
It's looking around 10, 11 million. That's the projection. And again, brother, I'd rather be pleasantly surprised if one of those dudes happens, but I'm not getting my hopes up that they're going to bring in Josh Jacobs.
I will say I got a little background on Josh.
Okay.
Josh grew up homeless with his dad. They lived in the car for a while. He loves his family, so he might be willing to be close to home to go for 9, 10.
You think 9, 10 is what Dallas is paying? I was about to say. I mean, is he? Does he want to be? Does he want to be close to home so much that he'll take $3 million instead of 9, 10, 11 million?
Oh, hell no.
That's what I'm saying.
You don't even. Bro, you don't even think Dallas will pay 6 or 7?
No. I don't, bro.
Shame.
I'm look.
That's a damn shame.
I don't. Listen. If they do it, and maybe this is me guarding my emotions here, I will come on here and be pleasantly surprised. But I am not about to sit here and build my thinking up to think they about to pay 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, $13 million to the top 3 backs in the running back market. I'm just not, because I think they're out on doing that. And if they do it, man, then let's rock. If they go sign a Derrick Henry and Josh Jacobs, let's do it, baby. But once again, as much as I'd love to have one of those players, and as great as those players may be, if you don't fix this line, and if you don't fix this how, Yeah, they may rush for 900 yards. They may rush for 1,000 yards. And if the Cowboys don't take it serious and we get into the playoffs and Derrick Henry's getting 8 carries, 9 carries, and we're running out of shotgun all game, right? Then what the hell does it matter? So for me, the importance is fix the damn how, and then you pair that with the who. If they don't fix the how, then y'all going to be pissed off at the who. Guarantee it, because they're not going to be this amazing back that you think, because the Cowboys don't have that type of scheme.
And you already know that Derrick Henry got to have a lot of carries. So yeah, I don't even think he fits into our scheme, honestly.
I'm
We're
honestly,
not going to line up with no I formation and take the ball away from CD and Cooks and Ferguson. I don't think know, man.
And I just don't think you need. You need to fix that first. You fix that first, dude. Just look around the league, man. I think we're caught up because of how we've done it, right? Our lineage is Emmitt Smith, then Ezekiel Elliott, right? And even before that, DeMarco Murray. We're kind of caught up in that mind frame. But the successful teams in the league don't do that anymore, because you don't need to if you have the scheme to do it. You can plug and play any back that has talent, man. And I'm not trying to disrespect these guys. I'm just saying.
Where did we get Zeke and Smith out of the draft?
Sure.
We ain't going to do it. You right, bro.
No, I think we'll draft. No. I think we'll draft guys. I don't think
we'll draft them, but we ain't paying nobody.
Yeah, I don't think we'll pay a lot of money anymore. Which that should have been the thought process 4 years ago.
Dang. Man, bro, this is terrible. It's like, I remember when I was younger, I'd go out to eat and my mom would be like, you can't have that. That's what I feel like right now. We got all these backs out there, and I know that we can't have it. We ain't going to get it.
Maybe they're surprised.
But all right, bro, I'm going to roll out, man. I'll take the rest off the air, man. This is just stressful, bro.
I knew this was appreciate you, Cowboy, man.
Damn.
I almost started off the show saying, y'all gonna hate this show because it's going to be about running backs that aren't going to really excite you. At least when we did defense, what did we do? We did linebackers. I gave y'all some look, not expensive, quality linebackers. We did defensive ends or pass rushers, whatever. Gave y'all some quality names. Not saying these dudes aren't quality. I don't want to go that far. But names that could, move the meter a little bit. With all due respect, this ain't going to move the needle. I think these guys complement, and we're not J.K. Dobbins. I'm out on J.K. Dobbins. I would understand Gus and A.J. I think these guys will be complementary guys. You just have to pair them in a draft. And then that goes to another, if we want to dig deeper, right? Hey, man, now I got to trust the Cowboys to actually do the most obvious thing to do, and that's to grab a running back in the draft to pair. I don't trust them anymore. And that's crazy, because if it was anything to trust, it was to trust them in the draft. And I'm not even talking about the production of the draft. Going into 2023 draft, you probably could have won money off of me if you said, Sky, I bet you they will not take a complimentary back at all in this draft. I'm like, you lying. I'll double down. Sky, they're going to take a back. It's going to be day 3. But it's going to be a miniature back. I said, man, how much? In a draft where there was a lot of backs to take last year, they didn't take one complimentary back. I couldn't believe it. So even if they do sign one of these dudes, a complimentary guy, a Gus Edwards, AJ Dillon, or let's say it's not a big dude like that. Let's say it is a Zach Moss, let's go see where Zach is at. Zach is at about the same price as, or a little bit more actually than AJ Dillon. Let's say it's Devil Singletary goes a little higher too. He's about 4+. Say Dante Foreman, Antonio Gibson. I mean, I'm just throwing names out here. Kareem Hunt. You think they go Kareem Hunt? Then they go Kareem Hunt. I like Ty Johnson. Bills. Marlon Mack always banged up. These are cheap guys. I'm just looking at some of these cheap bring back a Ronald Jones. So let's say they take one of these dudes. Automatically, my thinking is, all right, here we go. You're going to draft a back. Now, they did have formal meetings with a bunch of running backs. So maybe that gives me a little bit more confidence that they'll take a back at some point. But they've lost my trust. 2020, not all of it, but they've lost my confidence in them doing the thing that makes the most sense. Taking a tight end in round 2 made no sense. Not taking a running back before the 6th round, then the one you did take was a miniature back, didn't make any sense. They usually make some form of sense in these drafts. So, yeah, my confidence was hit. I ain't afraid to say that. LA, what's up? LA, you live. LA got that turn signal on right now, but, you know, must got the phone in the seat. LA, I'm going to give you 5 seconds. 2, 1. LA gone. So we're going to wrap this thing up with Magic City Marv. What's good, Magic City?
What's up, fam?
How we feeling?
I'm good. Listening to your show.
Thank you.
Hey, you got some good points, man. You came on. That's good.
I try. I don't always have them, but I try.
You know what I'm saying? But now you break it down. Either one of them halfbacks, Dillon, or the Baltimore back, I wouldn't mind with Tony Pollard. But he's gonna get about 4 to 5. It might even be 6. But that's good. And they're gonna draft the running back for sure. I already know that. But
I hope it just makes too much sense to draft.
Too many good backs.
Yeah.
I've seen all them backs.
Yeah.
Them backs. It's a lot of backs. So you ain't gotta worry about a back. But you gotta play the running back right. Even the big boy we had, they didn't even play him right. The halfback, what's the 235-pound back we got? The white boy?
Hunter Lipke.
Yeah, man, come on, man. That's why they got that. That's why they got that new offensive coordinator to help him. His run scheme is better than Mike. Just like y'all said, he kept running Pollard up the middle. Come on, man. Keep that man on sweets. Keep him fresh. And then you didn't play the other back, Rico Dowdle. If you'd have played him the right way, then you'd have had a good combination. But that's why they got that. He already know this is it. You either do it or you don't. That's why they ain't signed. And, you know, when Darius come on the show, I understand what he's saying. Like you say, everybody got their points. He be worried about Mike McCarthy. So Mike McCarthy can't be playing around, man. He cannot play around with this run scheme. He can make Dak more dangerous. Just like you said, you know, put that man on the center 50% of the time. If you know what I'm saying, to make these boys think we gonna run, then you could pay a Dak is very good in play action. You know what I'm saying?
And if you are going to run out of shotgun, I mean, then adapt. You know, teams like Miami and San Fran, even though they get under center a lot. Kansas City adapt their model of it. You know, they just don't. If you look how we run out of shotgun, it is, bro. It's like ABC football.
Yeah, and I was watching. That's why I like it, watching the 105 with Broaders on there. Man, Broaders, woo, I got to give the Broaders them yesterday. The last 2 days.
What was Broaders talking about? I don't really get a chance to listen to that sometimes unless I'm driving around.
Oh, my God. Broaders broke down. I'm going to tell y'all something. I didn't know that dude was that big, bro.
Who?
Hoffman. The center, number 57.
Oh, Brock.
He's 6'4", 322, y'all. They say he play with a mean streak.
He does.
He's dangerous. He will beat you down. He want to fight. And the Cowboys love him and Bass. So, but the number 1 pick, because he's falling up down the board, is the Georgians. That's who they want. They're going. If he fall, the Georgia tackle. That's who's going to be the number 1 pick. If they don't get the
Amarius Mims.
Yeah, Amarius Mims.
Yeah, depending on what they decide to do, and this is why I don't like. It's a gift and a curse. they can go into this draft and say, Tyler Smith, whatever happens in the draft, that's where you're going to play. So if we draft a tackle, you're guard. If we miss out on guard, we want your tackle, and then we'll kick TJ Bass in there. But I think they're going to – I'll be shocked, man, if they're sitting at 24 and they don't have a chance to take one of these tackles that they really like. There's so many. And if they get wiped out, then damn it, some corner or some wide receiver or somebody prominent, defensive tackle, somebody prominent is going to be sitting there and falling to you.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Somebody because I'm like the line, don't panic on the line. Because I didn't know. Because, man, when he gave that report, I was shooting, ooh. I said, yeah, but I saw it in the game. They said, yeah, they said they love him. They said, that might be your starting center. Because they said he be beating people up. He go crazy. I ain't know he was that big.
If they decide to do that, bro, maybe, and again, I'm looking too deep. And this is not, I like Brock Hoffman. I like Brock Hoffman, though, as a utility guy. I like Brock Hoffman as he can come in there and play for a few games if somebody get hurt. Brock Hoffman is a kind of a journeyman player who it does not have a long-term deal here. And to me, I don't think you're necessarily taking your line or run game serious if you say Brock Hoffman's our starting center for 2024. You know why? Because you could easily grab your center of the future. It don't got to be in round one. And now what you will have, if all is well with Terrence Steele, is you got Terrence Steele, you got Tyler Smith, and you have your center. You got three key pieces for the next, 3 to 5 years. And you're not having to I've been here. We all remember the revolving door on that interior.
Yeah.
Bill Nagy, and Phil Costa, and Mackenzie Bernadou, and I'm not trying to go back to
all
that.
them guys, though. He's bigger than all
I don't care if he's bigger than them or not. The point is he's not the future, is what I'm getting at. So if you bring Brock Hoffman in here, and unless Brock Hoffman is just goes Pro Bowl level type of play, you're replacing Brock Hoffman the next year. So now we're 3 centers in 3 years. I don't know what they're going. Just get me the center for your future for the next 4 to 5 years and stop playing around. Don't play with that position.
He gave me another center, and I was watching. He showed centers too. And a center that's really good from West Virginia.
Yeah, there's centers. Van Pran, Frazier, JPJ, Barton. You can get a center if you want to get a center. And a center, I think, is critical. Round,
they say you can get a center.
Sure, the Wisconsin kid. And again, if people might be scared now,
but I think they're gonna do that. They're gonna drop the left tackle or a center. But like you said, the left tackles go. And that guard there, the center, they're gonna get him.
Yeah, let me tell you, if say all the left tackles or the tackles in general get wiped, I'm almost 100% believe one of them damn centers is there. Barton. Some people might not be comfortable taking Frazier high, but Barton or maybe JPJ will be sitting there if you get quote unquote wiped.
They want him bad. If JP there, they want him bad, boy. That's the one they want. You know what I'm saying? But you got to have that running game. That's why they got that new running scheme guy. That scheme better than McCarthy because he needs help with his run scheme. Just like
who you talking about, the Boston College offensive coordinator?
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you something right now. I don't think he's going to do anything.
Well, he's there to help.
He's there to fill Will Harriger's spot. And Will Harriger was basically just an offensive assistant, bro. If you really wanted somebody to come in here and change up the running scheme, it would have to be a guy McCarthy advocated for, physically went out and got a guy in the league, I think, that has been successful and said, this is my guy. He comes out and he tells you he's going to help with our run game. I don't think that's going to be the case. I understand he had a great run game in Boston College, but one thing I've realized, especially when they brought Brian Schottenheimer, they elevated him. McCarthy's going to run what McCarthy wants to run. And I don't see the scheme changing. I'm sorry to tell you that right now.
If he don't, I got to give Darius credit there. If McCarthy want to run what he want to run, and then we're going to do the same dumb stuff again.
Right, which is why you got to this is what's tough. When you lose Tyron,
we're going to lose.
When you lose Tyron, you're kind of downgrading in the talent department. You need to replenish the talent. That's why people get mad about talking about offensive line. Bro, you need some talent. Because I don't think they're going to have this amazing run scheme. So now I need my guys to be able to elevate, right? Terrence Steele, year 2 off the ACL. I need you to be back to being that Terrence Steele that was on his way up. Zach, I need you to bounce back. I ain't saying he had a terrible year, but he wasn't demigod Zach, right? Tyler Smith, whether you tackle or guard, I need you, year 3 Tyler Smith, to be all pro, year 3 Tyler Smith. TJ Bass, if he's the dude, TJ, I need you to step up. And whoever the center is, you're going to need the talent up there, in my opinion, to overcome a scheme. I have no confidence that Mike McCarthy is going to just automatically change his scheme in the 5th year he's been here. I have no confidence in that.
If he don't run the wrong plays for the backs, then you're gonna get the same dumb stuff that make the backs look stupid. Yep. So Darius might be right. He might. If Darius listen, hey, he might be right, bro. He ain't got no confidence in McCarthy calling plays. Then there we go, calling them dumb, stupid plays.
Yeah,
running Tony Pollard the wrong way. Come on, man. That dude's supposed to be hitting the outside. Sweep left, sweep right. Come on, man. Getting the man killed running through the middle all the time. Them big old D-line. Oh, bro.
Yeah, brother. Just keep it being. I ain't going to sit here and get your Skittles and rainbows. We in year 5, and we talking about McCarthy changing the scheme? Yeah, I don't know about all that, bro.
Well, I know he can pass. I don't mind the passing game, but, man, you got to mix that running game with them. That'll make you more dangerous.
I agree, but that's not his M.O. It never was his M.O. in Green Bay, and it's not his M.O. here.
Well, he lied. He lied.
He definitely lied. But I told y'all that to play. Remember in the offseason, I'm like, McCarthy said all this about the run game, but don't look at the words. Go look at the action. Go look at the action. His second running back was a Rico Dowdle. He didn't take a running back until the 6th round. He didn't draft an offensive lineman until the 5th round.
And didn't even use the fullback. That dude fast. That big old fullback, halfback, that dude can run. Didn't even run him the right way. Come on.
Yeah, they asked him to be the blocker, and it took some time to be the blocker. Then he started blocking better. And then when they decided to start giving the ball, he fumbled, and everybody's like, no more, Hunter Lipke running the ball, yeah.
I wasn't fumble because he didn't know. They called a play, they didn't call him. He caught him about guard. He don't fumble like by getting hit. That was a bad play. But they panicked, and when they should have kept running.
They did.
Every time he ran the ball, he went forward. Every time.
The word is on that situation is it wasn't miscommunication. He didn't think he was getting the ball.
Yeah. He thought he wasn't getting the ball. Yep. That's why not practicing like that, like you say. Practice makes perfect in practice. Don't be scared. So say we get one of them dangerous backs out of the draft. Say if you get your boy from Florida State, what you gonna do then?
Come on, man. Now, and that also goes into the talent situation too. When you're talking about, not only do I need the talent up front to overcome a porous scheme, but I also need the talent on the back end to potentially overcome a porous scheme. When I say back end, I mean in the backfield. I'm sorry.
If you get that Florida State back with Pollard, come on, bro. Man, you'll be a dummy not to run that. If you don't, oh my God, I'd be mad as hell, man. You got 2 dangerous backs back there, and you're not running them the right way. Man, come on, y'all.
Give it some time. if it ain't Benson, I won't be mad as hell if they don't take Benson. I'll be mad if they don't take a back. Man, there's a lot of backs, bro.
Man, there's like 25, 30 backs. All of them. I've seen all of them run. They ain't run strong and powerful. 30 is crazy.
But hey, okay. All right, Marv. Right. In closing, Marv.
Well, in closing, man, good show, man. I just hope this guy run scheme be better. And like I always say, you know what I say? If you don't get them trenches on that defense, we ain't going nowhere anyway. So, how about them Cowboys? Good show still.
Appreciate you, Marv. Yeah, I mean the front on both sides to me, should be emphasis. With Zimmer here, we did the Fat Boys, right? We talked about. We talked about it. And you know they can never be whacked. The Fat Boys are back. Do you like the Fat Boys? I do think they are back, but they have to give Mike Zimmer kind of the rope to go to do that. They have to give him the leash to be able to go out there and get it. And I don't think it has to be free agency. We did our free agent breakdowns. There are a couple guys that could be trades as well, but Emphasize. I would. This is what I do. I would attack free agency on the defense side of the ball more heavy than I would offensively, because whether you like to hear this or not, as long as you got 4, you got Lamb, you got Cooks coming back, you got Ferguson, Turp is still here, Tolbert. Like, at the very least, you know you're going to go out there and be able to do what you need to do offense, like need to do. Not saying I don't like to not upgrade. I would like to still grab people to help, but you know you can win some games. Defensively though, plus you're going into year 2 under the scheme. Defensively, a new scheme, new coaches. We're going to draft defensive players, but rookies can, not everybody's Deron Bland and not everybody's Micah Parsons. So it can be a bit of a curve for them. So go get me these veterans that can come in here right now. Go get me Eric Kendricks and Azeez Al-Shire. Stop playing around. That's $7 million. I'm giving it to Azeez. That $9 million, I'm giving 2 of it to Eric Kendricks. Give me Eric Kendricks. Give me Azeez. Maybe you make a trade for a defensive tackle. You fortify your defense in the mode that Zimmer wants with veterans, and you draft some depth, some young, fresh legs, day 2 of the draft or so, unless, hey, the draft falls to you. But then you take your offensive linemen for the future in the draft, or you take your running back in the draft. Because in my opinion, running back, your offensive line, Dak will make that work. He'll make it work. Big question mark defensively. Let's just be real. We know we got the talent. We know Micah going to do Micah. We know Diggs hopefully come back. He going to we know that, but we don't know what Zimmer wants or is going to do. So let him get his guys where he don't have to be at practice pissed off because our first round pick don't know where to line up or decided to go on an Atkins diet. You know what I'm saying? No. We do not need Jamal Adams. Is that a topic of conversation? I didn't think it needed to be. Let's get to some super chats. Good stuff today. Where we at here? The 6
super chat.
Shouts out to you. We don't wipe them 304. Shout out to you, Chris. I ain't see you in there, man, Chris. The Shannon Sharp stuff on Twitter has me dead. What's going on with Shannon Sharp? Did I miss something? What's going on with Shannon Sharp?
Super chat.
Sector dropped 5, and he said, "Do you think any of these backs complement TP better than the other?" Okay, let's go back to our board here. Of these 3, I say Gus. I'd go Gus. I think him and Dillon are very similar. It's a good question, by the way. I think him and Dillon are similar. They're power backs. They're complementary power backs. Dillon, he's a goal line back too because he's a big guy. But I feel like Gus is just a little bit more nimble. Dillon's 6 foot 250. It is what it is. It's tough. It's tough to have fluid hips like that. But I think Gus will complement TP more. But again, I don't think they're going to sign both. Now we're talking about re-signing Tony to $4, $5, $6, $7 million, then signing Gus to a $3 million deal or so. I find that hard to believe. It's a man purse, says the other Sky. So what? Oh, is this him getting out the car thing? Is that what everybody talking about? Because somebody took a still shot of him getting out of the car. I was like, that looked kind of weird. But then I saw the video, and then I was reading, he got hit replay. I'm like, oh, maybe he just walked weird. I'm just saying, I don't be on the internets for that. I don't care. Still them boys.
Super chat.
He dropped 5 and said, Catboy got me feeling like Trey from the Boys in the Hood throwing haymakers in the liver. I like to do the version of the parody. Not necessarily that movie, was it while drinking gin and juice in South Central. But yeah, man, it's a reality, bro. And maybe, and I said this years ago, I said the more and more I do this, the more I become numb to these dudes. You know? Because I ain't, man, like, I ain't going nowhere. But I'm also not about to let these fools work me up to breaking TVs and whatnot. And coming at people's families and things like that. Man, it's just ridiculous, man. People are ridiculous. But yeah, bro, they do make you, they do frustrate the hell out of me, though. That's for sure. Yeah, they make you want to slap kids, Jay. That scene is goated. Droz said, why not talk about Kingsley?
Super chat.
Hey, Dro, you can't miss shows, bro. Let me see if I can find this. Foots, if you in the chat, man, talking about Kingsley. We talked about Kingsley Friday. Go run back to Friday show. Me and Foots were talking about Combine Watch guys. And he was one of my guys. Not one of my guys, one of Foots's guys. And you know, when Foots gives me some players to go check out, I say, okay, let me go check these dudes out. And I went and checked out Kingsley, and I like what I came back and saw. And he did good in the combine. I mean, he's an athlete. The one thing I did have questions about, I'm trying to find my notes on him, but now I can't find them, so I'll just try to remember off the top of my head. Where is it at? Watch notes. Yeah, I don't have it here. But off the top of my head, let me see if I can find his film. We can talk about it a little bit here. It's a whole bunch of these Islanders, by the way. But I think I had questions about his technique. If I'm not mistaken in my notes, I think I put that he was a bit raw in that aspect. And I'm a big fan of a technician and a nuance guy. But you obviously saw, you know what? I think I might even comped him to, in the sense of the rawness and then the physicalness, right? Physicalness of the Tyler, but didn't have the nuance. That Tyler didn't have nuance coming out either. The dude was just a mauler. And what he weigh in at 6'4", 320 plus, ran smooth. He did have some weird injuries to deal with. Nothing crazy that'll scare you though. But he can get out in space. I tell you that. And I was in my notes. I remember now talking to Foots. In my notes, I was about ready to put down, hey man, I like to see him finish a little bit harder. And I lied to you not. The next play, I don't know. I can't remember what team it was. Maybe TCU. I don't know. He buried this man so far in the dirt, they should have put him in a casket. And I was like, okay, that's, if I see it once, I can see it again. So yeah, I like this guy. I like this guy a lot. He look like Lyle. Let me see. Damn, he do look like. Just real quick, y'all. A lot of people think we still got Lyle Collins. We don't have Lyle Collins. Lyle Collins, if I'm not mistaken, he's a free agent. They signed him to practice squad. Contract ran out, so he's a free agent. But we shouldn't be counting on Lyle, right? Yo, we're not really counting on Lyle. Even if Lyle was on. Nah, man. But he looked like Lyle. That's for damn sure. Let me see. Let me refresh this. All right, here we go. Appreciate you, Joe Knows. All right, good stuff today. We'll be back on tomorrow. But before we do that, I do want to bring this back up because, you know, I want to really try to put a emphasis on this a few times a week, Cowboys Nation. But if you are in the DFW area and you do know of a teacher, with your help, we want to give thanks and celebrate the amazing teachers around us. I see so many different videos of what a lot of these quality teachers are dealing with. Boy, y'all got it. Hat tip to you, the things y'all have to deal with. So we want to give thanks for the incredible work that you guys do. If you know a great teacher, you can nominate them by clicking the link in the description. And each month, Hattie B's will provide up to $100 gift card and 100 different employees in the faculty staff membership will be able to be provided the chicken sandwiches, whatever they want. So do me a favor. If you know somebody, nominate them. Hattie Bees would choose them. That'll be our one. On your way out, though, if you are new, hit that like button if you enjoyed the show. Only if you enjoyed the show. I know a lot of people don't fool with me, and that's fine, right? That's why I don't just say just hit it because you're here. No. If you don't rock with your boy, if you don't rock with the show, then hey, that's cool. But make sure you're here tomorrow. That's all I'm saying, because we're gonna bring that thing back. And then subscribe, and of course share it with your friend, family, and foe. Because if you're not getting your Cowboys information here and Vach's show with Foods and the Tucks and the bosses, like the community, you're doing it wrong. Yep. You're doing it wrong, man. And I say that not humbly either. I say that with confidence. So make sure y'all tune in and y'all rock with us. With that said, I'm gonna go ahead and press this button. Get up out of here.
Push the goddamn button. Push the goddamn button.
Be back tomorrow. We'll see if Pat will be on tomorrow, if Pat will be on Friday. But regardless, Pat will be on this week. We'll be talking about what's happening here around Cowboys Nation. So make sure y'all tune in for that, man. Appreciate y'all for being here, man. We out of here. Later. Peace. Prayers up to Special K. I see you, brother.